Joining us today is Professor Dr. Heather Katz, right?
Yeah.
The chair of bicycle traffic at the University of Wuppertal. She's one of the leading voices in mobility research today, dedicated to making cycling safer and more integrated through science and innovation, let's say. And Heather, it's an honor to have you on Cargo Bike Lovers here in the podcast studio.
Yeah, well, thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here.
Maybe you would like to introduce you a bit further. So, who are you and what are you doing? What can we expect of a bicycle chair?
Sure, yeah, I would be glad to. Well, as you mentioned, my name's Heather. I'm not from Germany. That's why I'm speaking in English. I was born in Canada in a city called Calgary in Western Canada. And there I studied civil engineering. So my background is civil engineering, how to build infrastructure that best serves cities and regions and communities. And during that, I did an exchange in Stuttgart. So there I spent 9 months and I completely learned a new way of considering mobility and transport. So not just cars, but walking and biking and taking public transport. And I thought this is really the solution. This is what we've got to be focusing on. So I came back to Germany and studied in Munich. And there I had a chance to really jump into bicycle traffic. What are cyclists? How do people move when they're on the road with a bicycle compared to a car? What do they want? What do they prefer? What kind of roads would best suit them? And there I had the chance to do my PhD building behavior models, so how to understand and predict what cyclists are going to do in given situations. And based on that, I got this wonderful opportunity to come to Wuppertal and head a chair here where we're just looking at bicycle traffic, of course, considering the rest of the mobility system, but thinking about, the same kind of questions. What is bicycle traffic? It's really amazing how much we know about car traffic, really from what kind of seats do people like to sit on? How warm should they be? How can the air quality be controlled in the car? What alignment should the roads have? How much curves can they have? How can we stop congestion by controlling the speed at different points on the highway? We just know so much. And what we know about bicyclists and bicycle traffic is just so small in comparison. So that's our purpose, is to try to make this bit of what we know bigger so that we can consider bicycle traffic more in planning.
Wow, that is a lot you do. So you have this vision, let's say, of having data-driven science in bicycle traffic, right? So you, as we know, you hold the first chair of bicycle traffic in Germany. It's right.
Well, maybe just one quick note on that. There was 6 of them that came into being at the same time. So one of 6.
One of 6. Yeah, one of 6 now, but you were one of the first, let's say.
I think the third.
Not third.
But maybe I was the first university one. The other ones, maybe that's the claim to fame.
So, what are the 2 or 3 core goals you want to achieve with your research at the University of Wuppertal?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe the most important goal is actually not about research at all. It's about education.
Yes.
It's about training people in the realm of mobility and transport who think about the bicycle as a serious mode, not just something that maybe you save some space. If there's some extra on the side, then you can make a little bike lane if it's easy and nice, but something that's serious and important for urban and local mobility. So that's my first goal, to really get people to think about mobility differently from the ground up. So from the bachelor's level, master's level, and PhD level. That's my goal number 1. The second is, like I mentioned to you before, is to really understand cyclists and their behavior and what they do and how they interact. And based on this, find ways that we can build infrastructure for them that's safe, that's efficient, that's attractive, that they want to use. And that comes from the infrastructure side, but also from the technology side. So e-bikes are a wonderful example. Technology that's just supported people so much in starting to bike and being able to do their local trip or their daily trips with a bicycle. But there's just so much more that's coming for us. I mean, cargo bikes, of course, are one topic that you can redesign or rethink a bicycle and then meet a whole new set of needs that people have in their daily mobility. But this technology aspect is really interesting to me. What about warning systems? What about better routing? What about balance assistance? This is something that is coming up. I've ridden a balance assisted bike, which was a very interesting experience.
Oh, wow. How
Yeah.
was that?
Weird because I mean, it's like driving a car that keeps its lane. You know,
Okay.
this feeling that your steering wheel is like doing its own
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of course. Well
It's
known to car drivers.
To many people, right? And it feels a bit weird. And it's the same, except your bike is steering a little bit how you maybe wouldn't steer it.
Oh,
And
wow.
at first it seems really odd. And actually, research shows that people don't like it.
Oh.
It's not something that's good, but it does have a lot of potential for supporting balance and preventing accidents, especially for older people or people with problems, balance problems.
Yeah, balance problems.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's really
It's cool,
impressive.
isn't it? I find it so,
Yeah.
really exciting.
We had the bike for testing, which has a landing gear. So once you come to a stop and you have children in front, the Taran T1, the gear puts itself down once you come to a stop, and then it holds your cargo bike. Because of the load in the front, it's quite hard for small people to ride these type of bikes. So that's a cool invention, I think, and it supports the people in their needs.
Biking, really
Yeah.
cool, really excellent. And
Yeah.
there's just so many things like this. If you think about cars and the braking systems, the
Yeah.
automated braking, that this is also slowly starting to come
Yeah.
into cycling. I mean, many people use a bike, but don't know what their left and right hand on the brake is necessarily doing. They just press it like you would in a car and hope for the best, uh, which is fine. It's a different way to ride a bike, but why not have systems that know where to put the brake power in the front or the back so that people don't have to have this
Exactly.
skill necessarily? If they're
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there which say, don't use the left one, it's for the front and it's dangerous to use, but you have like 70% of braking power in the front. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a quite odd rule when you think of Wuppertal and riding down a hill at full speed and
you
just
need
use
all the brakes you can get.
Of course, and you better use it
Yeah, exactly.
wisely. That's cool. And so, which form of transportation did you choose today?
Yeah, this question comes every time. Every time.
Sorry.
But no, I'm happy to tell you. I walked to work and then I walked here.
Perfect.
So I walk a lot in Wuppertal, actually. I really like to walk. But still, nevertheless, I find it to be an interesting question because mobility and transport are so personal, that people know what they do and what decisions they make, that it's something that you expect from the person studying it, that they also embody cycling. And actually, I embody walking more than I do cycling. And I know a lot of excellent researchers who know so much about decision making and how to best plan for cyclists who don't necessarily ride a bike.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's a funny question, but no, I walked today.
Well, it's not a shame. So walking is fine,
Oh,
I
walking is
think,
lovely.
because there are so many modes of transportation, and you choose for your individual situation the right one. So you wouldn't necessarily take the bike if you just go around the corner. But once you have the option and it's safe to use, maybe you start doing that. But yeah, if walking is fine, then walking is fine, I suppose. That's really cool. In the past, as we know, Wuppertal, so it's a really car-centric planning. So you won't find a lot of cyclists here in Wuppertal. It's becoming more and more. But how would you redefine the success of a street or bike path design, which from a scientific perspective? So how would you look on infrastructure?
Yeah. Well, there's different criteria, of course. The most commonly used criteria for traffic planners is the efficiency, of course. How many can you ride without stopping? Can you get where you're going from A to B in a quick and easy and direct way? So that is the traffic flow part of it. But of course, there's other indicators like objective safety. Is it really safe? Do I have a likelihood that I will get into a crash? What kind of crash will it be? Is it likely to be severe? So indicators that show how safe something actually will be. And then a completely different thing, how safe does it feel? When sometimes these things, how safe it actually is and how safe it actually feels, don't align.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22 almost in traffic, that situations that feel unsafe to you will cause you to behave a little bit more cautiously. You will check what other people are doing, look around a lot more, and then accidents don't happen. You prevent them just by this feeling of danger inside of you. Where when something feels safe, when you're just going about, you don't see anything coming or that anything could come, is when the accidents occur. So that's safety, both sides of it is, of course, very important to analyze. In bicycle traffic, we also have the comfort and attractiveness. So how nice is it to ride there? Is it a quiet street where you can look at something interesting with some shops, or are
Smooth ride, maybe.
Yeah, like nice pavement that you can move along. This is really important as well. So these are the main criteria that we use. There's the 5 that they have in the Netherlands that we kind of adapted in Germany as well, that you can use to analyze or say how good an infrastructure is doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting, this perspective on cycling, because it differs from what you would expect when you ask somebody like who's using this form of transportation. He would say, well, I have to go there, I take the bike, and I do it maybe because I have just this option, or it's not that I want to use something else. So this perspective on how infrastructure should be, you can see when you come to like Copenhagen or something, because everyone is using this infrastructure because it's there. So one approach I think is best, building infrastructure and the people will come. This is an approach really common, and you can see then there is safety in numbers. So a lot of cyclists mean there is a safer or more convenient ride. So it's interesting how you look on things, actually. So we are here on a cargo bike related channel, so I have to ask cargo bikes in the urban planning, let's say. So there is sometimes this saying that the cargo bike is the SUV on the streets, which I don't share, but there are people out there, and we want to reach these people as well. So cargo bikes are larger, and heavier than traditional bikes. That's for sure. How does this change the requirements for infrastructure from your perspective? So maybe it has effect, or it should affect the lane width, turning ready, or whatever kind. So what is your perspective on this?
I mean, you pretty much captured it there, right? They're bigger and they need to have a little bit of space planned for them. The most important question that you got to start with is, how many cargo bikes are you expecting? How many bikes do you have in total, and what percentage of those are cargo bikes? It's a little bit like maybe not the SUVs, but normal cars and trucks. What percentage of trucks do you have? How many vehicles do you expect per day or per hour that are going to be of this bigger dimension? And if it's just a few, then maybe you don't have to do anything except make sure that you have enough space at a stop section where they can stand without getting in the way of the other road users. But for the width of a bike lane, I mean, it should be wide enough anyways to fit a cargo bike. A basic, a normal type of cargo bike. If it's an extra wide, extra huge thing, then maybe not. But this minimum width that's already defined for a bicycle lane should be enough. But of course, if you have more cargo bikes, if you start having traffic, actual flows of bicycle traffic that contain significant amounts of cargo bikes, then you need to start planning for them. What's important in bicycle traffic is that the speeds of different cyclists are really different. You have people on the road bikes, which are actually faster than e-bikes, who just want to go fast. They just want to get where they're going really quick. And you have people with kids or just like easygoing cyclists who rather go at like a pretty low speed. They're just like not in a rush and want to go slowly without people zooming by them. And you have cargo bikes that are bigger, and I don't know, if they're an e-bike, maybe faster. If they're not, then maybe slower. It's a huge distribution. And if you have all these people together on a skinny infrastructure, a narrow infrastructure, then you're going to have a problem where people get stuck behind a slow cargo bike, these road bikers who just want to go. And this is not comfortable, first of all, the criteria that we talked about. It's not safe. This is when accidents happen, when people are not going the speed that they want and they can't pass when they want with the space between each other that they want. And it's not efficient. So the three main criteria things are just not there if we don't have enough space for people to do what they want on the vehicles that they have. So if we have a lot of cargo bikes, we got to have wider bicycle lanes, right? And I mean, it's still not a big demand because they're not as wide as a car, even
No,
even an aero car.
There are some few.
There are some few ones.
Maybe, but they are not
Yeah.
really common. So the most common form, like maybe a long tail or a long john, they are. The bar is the same as on a normal car bike, so there's not much of a difference. But maybe there is some demand for it in the future. We don't know.
It would be nice, yeah.
Yeah. And when we think of cargo bikes, there is different sort of cargo bike you can think of for business or family or logistics. All sorts of cargo bikes out there. A couple of hundred brands out there now, and some come, some go. There's a lot of change in the industry at the moment, for sure. Do you see the biggest potential for cargo bikes in commercial last mile delivery or in private family mobility? So, and do these groups need different infrastructure maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question beforehand, and I don't know if I have a good answer because I think both are important. They're different maybe from the shape of the cargo bike. And this is just a side note. This is something in itself that's quite interesting. The different shapes and sizes and the innovation that's going into bicycle development is super exciting. And of course, a family who has a few kids they need to transport will want to have a different shape bike than somebody who's going to be delivering, I don't know, post or packages or whatever they're delivering on their bike. These will have to look different.
And they have a lot of stops maybe, so they have to come to a stop and park the bike for a minute or two, and it's different.
It's very different from how you think about the infrastructure because these delivery vehicles are sort of like, well, they are very similar to the ones we know in motor vehicle traffic that they just can or often stop in the middle of the road. They block traffic, car traffic. But in the case of the bikes, it's often pedestrian traffic that they stand on the sidewalk anywhere and just block the way for a little while, or maybe they stand right on the bike lane and block the way. So the more delivery traffic we have, the better plan needs to be in place for where these people should stop while they're delivering so that they're not getting in the way of other road users, maybe creating dangerous situations where they're going places to pass the cargo bike that they're not supposed to be, the pedestrians, for example. So yeah, this of course has it's a whole different set of problems that come along with it, and it's more in the field of logistics than and urban planning too for how to get the space allocated properly.
Yeah, it's always the space is narrow in cities, especially where you have this urban areas and a lot of mobility needs. So all sorts of different transportation, and the street is very limited. So
yeah, you can't move the houses. So
No.
you have some sort of given width, and you got to work with it and
of course,
prioritize what you need.
of course you do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So data and simulation—that's one of your topics. And how do you include cargo bikes in your traffic simulations? Is there any simulation for cargo bikes? Are they treated as normal bikes, or do they need their own mathematical modeling?
Simulation. Simulation is a huge field. There's lots of different parts of modeling and simulation, and where you differentiate or where you don't really depends on your use case. What are you doing? Why are you simulating at all? And so far, at least in the industry, there's not a lot of cases where you would need to differentiate. You would just put a few bikes in your simulation and be fine with it. Where my work comes into play is when you need something a little bit more precise, when you need to know where the cyclists are, what they're doing, if you want to look at the safety or some special infrastructure design in a given location. The behavioral models that are there are kind of, you can imagine them as a mix between the behavior models for car traffic and the ones for pedestrian traffic. So bikes are not quite cars, but they're not quite pedestrians either. They're kind of in the middle.
Okay.
They mostly go in one direction, but they can stop pretty quick compared to a car. And if they want, they can even get out and walk normally like a cyclist or like a pedestrian would. So we have these kind of hybrid models that take some of the ideas from pedestrian traffic and some from car traffic and land somewhere like a bicycle. And I don't think this isn't a lot different for a cargo bike. What's different is the parameters like the desired speed or the space they keep to other road users or the acceleration and deceleration parameters. Those you would have to tweak a little bit to make sure that they're actually behaving or the dynamics are the same as a cargo bike and not a normal bicycle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's not something that people like to hear about too much because it's very abstract if you're not in the simulation domain.
yeah. Okay. So maybe I get it right when I say all bicycle and car and they're all molecules, and you basically say that one is bigger, one is and takes more space and is less affected or less flexible, let's say, and can change directions not that quickly.
Easily. Yeah, I mean, they're like individual little particles, I guess you can say, with some sort of size and width or length and width. But you have to imagine the cars, they're on a track. They can only move in one direction. So you have to have them going along the road.
They stick to the...
They stick to it. They stick to their route. And if you have a pedestrian, they are on a 2D surface. So they can and normally use social force models. So they're getting pushed by things like walls because they don't want to walk into them, and they're being pulled towards where they want to go. So the door, for example.
Yeah.
And then from that they just get a pathway through the 2D environment that they're in. And bikes aren't quite doing that, right? You're not quite so free as a pedestrian when you're movement, but you're also not just following a predefined track that's very fixed from the road or from the rules. You're a little bit more flexible.
Okay.
So that's, yeah.
So this is what you see when you model and analyze these different sort of transportation.
Yeah. I mean, it's not possible. This is kind of the edge where you can't really have these 2D pedestrians interacting with roads on 1D. It's a kind of the tip of the Forschung, German, the research about how to get these two types of road users into the same simulation in a way that makes sense. And this would be really important to be able to actually simulate situations like mixed traffic or I don't know, places where different modes come together and interact with each other. This is kind of where the limit is right now.
That's really interesting. So I'd like to ask a lot of questions to others, but then it's hard for me to get it right. But maybe there's something we can show that you're doing, and maybe put it in the video so you get a better understanding of what you do,
of what it looks like,
or what looks like. Yeah. So.
Yeah, sure.
Is the outcome something you can have a look at, or is it just numbers?
Yeah, it's something you can look at. Like, for example, we just had a project where we were looking at bicycle parking garages. So we wanted to simulate how the cyclists go in, how long does it take if there's a hill, how do they get up it, and how long does it take to get into the different types of parking things? And is there any congestion or lineups? And so we just simulated this parking garage for cyclists. And then you can just see what happens when bicycles get in there, park, and then come out. I mean, I don't know if we can put the animation on it. Probably we can. They don't always look like cyclists. Sometimes they look like blocks or something like that. But you can also, of course, make a visualization that they do look like cyclists.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, I could send that one for you.
That's impressive. So the outcome of this simulation is that how long they take to get there, how convenient it is to use, or what can you expect from the numbers?
I mean, it's difficult to imagine in a place like Wuppertal because you'd never have a parking garage for bicycles where there's like a lineup of people waiting to get in.
No, not gonna happen.
But if you're somewhere like Münster, I mean, if you're from Münster, maybe you can imagine a situation where there's people
at the train station.
At the train station, exactly, or in Amsterdam or these real cycling cities. They're having. Like, where do we put all these bikes?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's important to understand, okay, if we have a system where someone needs to stop and put a card in and take it out, and then a little arm opens and they can drive in to park their bicycle, compared to something that's automatic, that's just in their pocket, they drive over and get registered. What are the effects on the waiting time or the lineups of bikes that are created? And then if we have an idea of that, so how well are they being serviced? How long does it take? Then maybe we have an idea about how often or how likely they are to use this. Is it too annoying? Is
Yeah.
it something that is attractive to me or not? Is it
And what is it? What's the main goal? So when I think of Münster, I think of stolen bicycles. So it's not that you have just a lot of bikes, but there's also some sort of sharing, which is not meant to be shared.
okay?
So I got like 3 or 4 stolen bikes there. It's inconvenient. So when you come to a stop and the bike is gone, once you are on the way back, it's bad.
Pretty annoying. Yes, pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, the security is a very important topic for bicyclists. And it's really interesting because it's very different in German cities. It's something, if you look at the evaluations of the different cycling cultures in the cities, it's punctual. It's not in every city, but some of them, it's like the worst problem why people don't want to bike is because their bike will get stolen.
Which cities are there?
I think Leipzig was on
Leipzig.
the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
wonderful city.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city, and they actually have a lot of biking there. I think the modal speed
Yeah,
is
yeah.
21% or something like
Yeah,
that. But they get stolen a lot there.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
this affects bicycle traffic as well. So once a lot of bikes get stolen, it's inconvenient to ride a bicycle.
Well, then you don't have any bike to ride.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
everyone
there's
has
a bike on the street which necessarily is in your hands still, but it's still in use maybe. So
Maybe someone else, or maybe it's in a truck going over a border somewhere. I don't know.
maybe.
No, but I mean, the security that people feel for their bike when they leave it somewhere is really important in the decision to cycle.
Yeah.
And I mean, depending on where you're going and what the situation is there, then it affects your choice on whether you go with your bike or not a lot.
A
It's
lot.
very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I can myself relate to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great if people are like, let's build a parking garage. This is kind of the double or triple A solution,
Yeah.
like what you really want to have. But if you're going to put the money and invest, then how should it be built? What
Yeah.
should it, how steep can the ramps be? How do the parking stalls need to be? Can people lift their bikes into these like,
Yeah.
you know, these like double,
Well, yeah, of
double
course, yeah.
that we found in that project that like, women really don't like to use those.
No.
as
It's
a
inconvenient
rule.
because bike, especially an e-bike, is like 25,
It's so
30
heavy.
kilos.
Yeah.
And you imagine lifting up 30 kilos.
I mean,
It's-
normally you just like lean them down and then drive them up, but still it's
it's
not as easy as
no,
if it's just
it's
on
not
the ground.
as easy as to park a car on the
Yeah.
parking lot
Yeah.
and have the key pressed, and then it's safe,
And then it's done.
more or less.
Yeah.
There are places in Berlin, I don't know, where it's not that safe, but
In general.
in
yeah.
general, it's a lot safer than bicycles. And bicycles, they're becoming more and more expensive. And still, I have the impression that it is not that hard to steal these things, and it's not that punished as car theft would be.
Yeah.
It's completely different thing. You steal a 5,000 euro car. I think you get more punishment than you would if you steal a 5,000 euro
Yeah.
bicycle, and I don't see the point why.
I don't either. No, I don't get it. If it's like almost your fault if you lose your bike, someone
Yeah.
stole it. It's like, well,
Well,
probably shouldn't have left it where you left it. I don't know.
yeah, you get blamed for it, right?
A bit, yeah. It's like victim blaming that happens there.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, actually. Ooh.
Yeah.
I left a bicycle at the Utopiastadt for a night. It was the only night I left a bike on the street because of some trouble I had coming back to Wuppertal. And the other day, they tried to push the lock open with a frame. So the frame was banned in all directions. It's not usable anymore.
Oh, no.
And everyone was like, yeah, why you left your bike there? And I was like, yeah, well, I had to.
Yeah.
So
And people leave their cars everywhere all
exactly,
the
there are
time.
like 30 cars around standing, and this one bike, this one particular
that
bike.
was a problem. That
Yeah,
you
that
left
was the
it there.
problem. Yeah. Wow. When the police arrived, and I told them, and they were like, "Are you stupid? You can't leave the bike here overnight."
Yeah, this is really weird.
Yeah, really weird. So, but coming back to your profession, data-driven mobility and infrastructure. So you mentioned earlier on subjective safety. So research shows that people only switch to bikes if they feel safe. What does your data tell us about the most effective way to increase this feeling of safety?
I mean, safety, especially the feeling of safety, is really different between different people. There are people who feel completely safe riding in traffic with cars. There's some really tough guys and girls who are just ready to go, and they don't feel this is unsafe. And then there's other people who have a really low threshold, especially when it comes to motor vehicle traffic, that they want to have a good degree of separation. So for this more sensitive kind of person, that's what it's all about. Getting them away from motor vehicle traffic, especially if the cars are a lot, so a lot of volume, or if they're going very fast. And this is kind of the general guideline in Germany about when you need to have different types of bicycle infrastructure. When can you have mixed traffic, cars and bikes together? When do you need to have at least a line there separating them? And when do you need some real physical separation? So that's really important. Number one, get away from the cars. But of course, there's other things that increase your feeling of safety too. Depending where you are, it depends on the environment that you find yourself in. Is there nice shops? Is it a nice place to be? And this is not so much safety as security. The good feeling of, I'm safe on my bike. I can get off. Nobody will harass me or bother me, and everything's fine. So that's kind of a different topic than feeling safe on your bike. What's also important is how the bike lane is built. Is it smooth? Are there tree roots sticking out? Do I have the feeling that I'm going to hit a curb? Are there parked cars there?
Yeah.
This is a big
Dooring
one.
is,
Dooring, like the horrible. If you've ever had the experience when a door pops out at you, you'll never forget it.
No. And then you will most likely have some marks.
Some marks.
Which will...
they will remind you if you ever do forget. And then you get a horrible feeling every time you have to ride beside parked cars, right? That it's something that makes you feel unsafe. But there's tons of things. Roundabouts are discussed quite a bit. Is it a good thing or a bad thing for safety? Different studies show different things. But from the accident data, it seems to me that roundabouts tend to be unsafe and also make people feel unsafe. So it's not nice to have too many of those for your cyclists. Maybe for the cars, it's okay, but not for cyclists. I mean, where understandability kind of feeds into it. If I'm coming up to an intersection, and it happens sometimes in Wuppertal that you don't really know what you're supposed to do. Where are you supposed to go? Where are you supposed to wait? What is expected of your behavior?
This is what I like about Copenhagen. Once you get onto the bike lanes, you get introduced to the rules of it. So waving the right arm and coming to a stop means that you want to go on the left turn, maybe. I'm not really sure if it's like that or another way around. But there are gestures which implicates what you do next. So there is some communication which is really just for Copenhagen. And this is what I like about it, because you get easily into it, so it's not hard to learn. And it's like an indicator on cars. You tell the others what you do next.
I mean, it's just so important that people know what is expected of them, and the other road users know what you can expect from the cyclists and what you can expect from the driver. So systems where you really know, everyone knows what's going to go on or what's expected to happen is really important for feeling safe, but also being safe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at also the highways here, the highway system, everybody knows what to expect on a highway. You get on, you have to do some merging. Nobody's going to stop. It's just a system where everyone knows the rules.
For most of the time. But
for most of the time.
There are situations where it comes to an accident, but...
Yeah, of course, something happens. But this often is missing in bicycle traffic. Cities are different. There's different ways that they've realized their networks for bicycle traffic, different solutions at difficult to handle intersections that are either better or worse.
Wide intersections where we have like 6 lanes for cars, as you have it here at the train station in Wuppertal, Dappersberg, which is a bad situation when you come with a bicycle there the first time and you're being on the street because it's the only way where you are allowed to ride your bicycle. Yeah. And then you're on this big street. It feels unsafe for everybody. So and this is infrastructure which is introduced like 5 or 10 years ago. It's new and it's so bad from the bicycle perspective.
Yeah, I don't know why they forgot the bikes there. I don't know what happened. That was before my time in Wuppertal. Oh, but it happens a lot. I mean, the problem is when you go from the current situation, when you do traffic planning in Wuppertal and you see the numbers of cyclists that are using different streets,
Yeah.
and you don't project that there could be some change, that there could be more of them, then a lot of people don't see the point in or considering them, right? There's so few. Why do we need to do anything? Let's just, which of course is not the build them and they will come kind of mentality that we like to see, or even a safety mentality that everyone has a space where they are safe and can move in the way that their mode moves.
Yeah. Yeah. So also really interesting. So we talked about the Wuppertal case with the Döppersberg, and so this is your current home base. You're from Canada originally, but now you're living here in Wuppertal, right?
Yeah.
So what can hilly or traditionally industrial cities do to become cargo bike or bicycle friendly quickly? Not in like 50 years, but quickly. So what role does the pedelec play for you?
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a complete game changer. This was after I moved to Wuppertal, I always asked it if I was at a conference, like, what are some examples of cities that are really hilly, smaller roads that have been successful in shifting towards bicycle traffic? And for a long time, the answer was like, oh, I don't think there are any.
San Francisco?
And now San Francisco came up. A few people mentioned it, but even better almost is Zurich. Zurich is a very hilly city. And they had a really interesting project there called E-Bike City. And they wanted to completely reimagine Zurich, that you would take 50% of the space that's available for car traffic and just reassign it to bicycle traffic. And they did some implementations, not as much as they wanted to, but they wanted to see what it could look like, just reimagine the city. And they've reached a lot. When you go there, I mean, there are hills. I don't know if they're as steep as Wuppertal, but they're steep hills that
So most of Wuppertal is in the valley. So
there's some valley here too, and there's some valley there too. But you see a lot of bicycle traffic in Zurich, really a lot. It's you cannot stand in the road at any moment in time without seeing a cyclist.
Yeah, and they have a special relation to what S-Pedelec as well. So speed pedelec is a completely different thing there.
Completely different thing there. Yeah. It's kind of a strange difference between Switzerland and Austria and Germany that they're considered so differently. Yeah.
Exactly, because you could easily introduce speed limits towards these S-pedelecs, so it would be safe to use them on bicycle paths in the city as well here in Germany, but it's forbidden.
Yeah, this blanket forbidding is kind of, I don't know. Maybe it will disappear at some point when
maybe
people get more real.
I hope for it actually, because doing like 30 or 40 kilometers an hour on a bicycle is good when you come when you are outside of a city.
Yeah,
and you can then get there in less time. So it makes sense to use this kind of bike. But in Germany, it's a small percentage.
It's really too bad, especially if you think about NRV, because there's so many cities or so many people who live somewhere and work somewhere else, or their partner who lives works somewhere else. There's so many commutes between different cities, Wuppertal, the Ruhrgebiet, Düsseldorf, all the ones that are around, that this long distance cycle commuting could be so much more realistic if you could go much faster on your bike when it's safe, of course.
Yeah.
But so Zurich is a good example. There's a couple interesting examples in Norway where they have kind of bike lifts.
You put your foot down on the platform, and then it lifts you up the hill, right?
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, if they had something like that in Wuppertal, it could also be pretty neat. But
especially if you think about the connection to the Nordbahntrasse.
Exactly,
there are a lot of climbs there and steep ascents.
Yeah.
That would be nice. But I'm thinking of a place where this would be nice. In Barmen, maybe.
Maybe in Barmen, where we get up on the Nordbahntrasse from my house, we're right beside Fischertal. There's like really steep. Without an e-bike, you can't get up it.
No.
You'd have to walk.
Nasty stuff.
But I mean, maybe with e-bikes, we don't even need these solutions anymore. Maybe we have the solution as a motor that most people need to have, unless they're really sporty and fit. Then they can climb the mountains. But otherwise, why not just use the e-bikes?
Yeah. What do you personally think about the prices of e-bikes or cargo e-bikes?
The price.
The price, yeah.
Well, I mean, They are expensive, but I also know from the manufacturers that they are not making a lot of money on them. I
No.
mean, compared to a vehicle, they're still
Yeah.
pretty cheap. But it is a barrier for sure for people to own one or not. We did a study a little while ago about bicycle or e-bike ownership with cargo bikes included in that. And we definitely found it's people who have money, obviously, who also own one of these bikes. So
Yeah.
you get definitely a different distribution over the population that you don't really see in car ownership.
Okay.
People have a car. I mean, of course, rich people have more cars,
Yeah.
but still, a lot of people still do. So it's for sure a barrier
Yeah.
to getting one.
Yeah. Yeah. You can spend like 10K easily on a nice e-bike, and a lot of cars you can get much cheaper used ones, of course. But yeah. So let's talk about future and policy. You mentioned you didn't mention yet, but there's the 15-minute city you mentioned somewhere. What role does the cargo bike play in the concept of the 15-minute city?
15-minute city. Yeah, this is an idea from an architect in France who says you should be able to reach everything that you need to normally in your day. So a grocery store, your work, your kindergarten, the school, everything that you normally do. I mean, there's some things that will be further away, of course, but all your daily needs will be met within a 15-minute radius. And 15 minutes by foot is probably the most tight definition of the concept, but maybe it's 15 minutes with your bike. It's a little bit further. Maybe it's even if you take a bus, I don't know, then you're going even further, but it's not a huge area. So it's somewhere that you can just travel around and do everything without going very far. And mostly it's a land use planning concept. So how do I need to make my urban area to make this possible? I need to have a lot of people living there, and I need to have a lot of grocery stores and schools and doctors. I need to have really mixed use, or else it's not going to work. If I separate where the people are living and where they have to shop or go visit the doctor, then already I have this distance between different centers of locations. That already takes some distance. So can be larger, can be smaller. So yeah, but of course, if you have different vehicles available to you, not a car, but a different type of bike, a regular bike, a cargo bike, these can be really useful in getting to places within this small radius that are a little bit further. The idea is then if you can walk or bike or take the bus, then you don't need so many vehicles here, right? So it's within this 15-minute radius, you also have a different environment than you have today. Less cars, more space for greenery, more benches, more interactions between people. So it's just a completely different vision about how a city is to experience and live in. And the bike fits into this very nicely, right? It's you're experiencing your environment. You can interact with people. And if you can get a little bit further and do things a little bit faster and carry a bit more stuff, then of course that's a good thing.
Yeah. It is. So that's for sure. So there's one tricky question I'd like to ask you. So really introduced to the German bicycle traffic and the infrastructure, and you're one of a person who really know the data. So and the rules. So if you could change one specific regulation in the German STV or Richtlinie für Radverkehrsanlagen, as we say here, and traffic regulations tomorrow to benefit cargo bikes or bicycle in general, what would it be?
It's really funny because it's the one we just talked about.
Yeah.
With the S-Pedelecs.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, that's the one that I thought about before I came here. I think this needs to be changed, and if it could be changed tomorrow, I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's
disappointing for you.
No, it's not at all. No, it's a good point actually, because why is e-bike cycling limited to the support of 25 kilometers an hour when you can easily reach speeds of like 40 kilometers an hour on a road bike? So
yeah.
I see there are some pros and cons, and why not everybody should ride 40 kilometers an hour. When I think of my grandmother, for example, but a lot of people could ride these speeds.
I
easily.
also don't think she would, right?
Yeah.
Your grandmother, I think
No.
there's some sort of self-regulation that people travel on their bike. I mean, you feel the danger in a way that you don't necessarily when you're in your car.
Yeah.
You have to have the stability and the control of the bike.
Exposed.
You're exposed, exactly. So you're much more self-motivated to
Not die.
not die. Right? Very good
simple.
motivation.
Simple as that, yeah. No, it's not that dangerous in total. If we talk about the safety of cycling, it's more common to die in a car accident in Germany than you would on a bike. So it's still a lot. Vision Zero is not enhanced yet or enabled, but yeah. So what is your personal motivation? What was your own light bulb moment, let's say, that convinced you that cycling is the key to future mobility? You mentioned that you spend time here and there, but what was this very moment when you said, okay, let's focus on this topic for the next years?
Yeah, I don't remember if I mentioned it here or before we were talking, but I grew up, of course, in Canada, and the idea of using a bike never crossed anyone's mind unless you were having a recreational trip in the forest somewhere. So like never would anybody go to the supermarket on their bike. It was completely out of the question. And when I studied transportation there as a civil engineer, it also never came up in the curriculum, not even once. Not a bike, not a pedestrian, maybe a bus, but that was it for public transport. It was not part of the concept over there in Canada. And then I came over to Germany, to Stuttgart, and it was the first time that I saw a transport system that was composed of different modes that are good for different things. But I didn't have a bike in Stuttgart. I wasn't there for too long. It was 6 months. So I watched people cycling and I walked and I used the public transport. And then I ended up in Munich. And when I got an apartment, it came with a bike. It was just there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I was
How
like,
convenient is that?
how convenient is that? And I still have it because it's a wonderful bike.
Oh, cool.
But I can't use it in Wuppertal because the brakes are not good enough. But anyways, I rode it all over Munich. I just started and I never stopped. And it was like, this is perfect. It's like as good as a car in most cases.
Yeah.
Right? In most cases. Not in Calgary, it would not be in Canada. But in Munich, it was really good. And I was studying transportation, of course, at the university there. And every single project that came up or things where we had a topic that we got to choose, I just was drawn to this mode that most people still at that point in time kind of left over. It was kind of like it's people do it and they bike, but we don't have to plan for them and we don't have to care about what they want. They're just kind of the besides people.
They're there.
Yeah.
You can avoid them.
You can kind of avoid them. You can kind of ignore them. Maybe they use the sidewalk. Maybe they use the road. Let's see. So when I was studying, this was 2010, it was still not a huge topic in research, but somehow it always drew me in. I think because it was not a very studied topic. From a scientific perspective, it was like a wide open field that nobody had
so
touched yet.
You wanted to be the explorer of this.
Somehow to see what is in there, what is interesting, what can we take from the car science that we have, what can we take from the huge body of pedestrian science, and end up at some sort of body of knowledge that's accepted in bicycle traffic. And I mean, since then, the last 16 years, a lot has happened. The number of research projects and papers and knowledge that's available is just, it's unbelievable how it exploded.
Wow. That's good. So, and you're part of it. So you and your Lehrstuhl, that's so cool. So yeah, I learned a lot today, really, and there was so many nice new things to think about, and you gave us a whole different perspective on how to look on bicycles. I personally think.
Thanks.
So a lot of things I didn't expect to hear today. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we can have a chat somewhat in the future about what is the outcome of your work, what is the latest updates on your field of science, and thank you.
Yeah, great. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.